Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai B'Shem HaKadosh, the brothers, the apostles, and those great millstone for teaching us his true peace and blessing. To the hopeful like the wisdom Shalom, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, named Jeru, B'Shem means the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson. And today, we're going to be going to the situation that's taking place over in Ecuador, which you see in the title right here. Armed men storm an Ecuador TV studio during a live broadcast as attacks in the country escalate. And another point we'll be pushing throughout this lesson, going to the Sedition Among Men, going to 2 Ezra 15 and 15 through 17, just to go into the chaotic times that we are coming into, as well as this being an example of what's to come to Babylon the Great, aka America. So I have a quick video on this right here to go in a little bit more into the situation, and we'll get to the article, and I'll leave another one also to add on to it, and Lord's will lesson be edifying to the point.
Que se vaya la policía. Que se
vaya. Que se mueren todos. Que se vaya, que se vaya. Que se vaya. Dile que tenemos bomba.
So there's that. Now we're going to read the caption, which is English. The situation in TC television in the most dangerous city in the country was "Please for don't shoot" were heard on the air while the hooded men shouted and insulted. Broadcast lasted just over 15 minutes before it was cut. Ecuador has been rocked by attacks that include explosions and the kidnapping of police after the government imposed a state of emergency following the apparent escape of a powerful prison gang leader. Now we're going to look into this article right here to add on to that. Now it says, which you'll see right here, over a dozen masked men broke onto the set of public television channel in Ecuador, waving guns and shouting during a live broadcast. Masked men broke onto the set for public television channel in Ecuador, waving guns and explosives during a live broadcast Tuesday, and the president issued a decree declaring that the violence-plagued country had entered in an eternal armed conflict. The men, armed with pistols and what looked like sticks of dynamite, entered the set of the TC television network in the port city of Guayaquil, if I said that correctly, during a news program that was airing live in thousands of homes across the nation, and shouted that they had bombs. Noises similar to gunshots could be heard. No one was killed in the attack, and authorities later said that all masked intruders had been arrested, 13 in all, and would be charged with terrorism. But either way, you see the main point and how this is an example of what's to come.
Hey, who's been paying attention?
And it's also what I was mentioning in my latest lesson, where I was wanting to make a lesson going to a situation we used to be right here in Berlin, Germany, and all that. Which I believe I made a lesson also a few months back, or a little over a year ago, where you had pretty much just being, pushed in the news with what's going on, where you have a lot of farmers with a lot of tractors, which you see right here. Pretty much, covering the highways and the roads and all that. But play a little bit of this right here. Jump to script at hand, and Lord's let's be edifying.
Attention to what's been happening in Germany. Or I guess better question is, who's missed it? Because not surprisingly, it's not getting very much coverage here. I guess they don't want anyone getting any ideas, you know what I mean? German farmers have been protesting against their government due to removal of tax benefits, specifically those that would end the tax break on their fuel and agricultural vehicles. This is amounting to a financial impact to the farmers of what they're saying is approximately €1 billion per year. And this is to help resolve a €17 billion deficit due to what the courts have ruled, what the German courts have ruled was unlawful spending of money by their government. So what's the government do? They go, oh, okay. Well, we'll just tax the people to make up the difference because we don't know how to handle money. Man, does that sound familiar? And this has been their response.
Which I believe they rose the prices of soil and tons of other things that pretty much damage, the farmers and all that, to where they're pretty much unable to, pay that crazy amount.
Recently, as a couple of days ago, the German government has come back and said, okay, fine. We will spread the tax impact over some years and allow the farming sector to get used to it.
But it's going to show that people are sick and tired of the government, the people in power, which is going to cause uproars, which is going to cause riots. And this is biblical prophecy, man.
Well, this isn't acceptable to the farming community in Germany, and they are not backing down.
And that's pretty much on that. Let's get these scriptures at hand and get ready to close it out. Now, the second Ezra 15:15-17. For the sword and the destruction draw nigh, when people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, what's the modern day sword, the gun. Dealing with these weapons. Excuse me. Verse 16 now says, for there shall be sedition among men. Which when we go into this word sedition right here, which we'll get for edification's sake. Let's see. Which you'll get right here. Now it says incitement to riot / rebellion. That's what you are seeing. And what especially is going to take place over here in Babylon, man. They show you in the movie The Purge, as well as, they have multiple movies, which one of them is called Purge, and it says the election day. So you're already seeing things getting ready to happen. A new movie coming about, civil war breaking out. These are things that's getting ready to take place. Now it says, invading one another shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of action shall stand in their power. The kings and princes being the people in power and authority. Actually, let's go back to that. I want to finish off the whole thing. Now it says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city, shall not be able, go into them, shutting this place down, implementing lockdowns, harsh restrictions, and mandating, curfews and all that. Luke 21:25-28. And it should be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth distress nation with perplexity, to see in the waves roaring. A main point right there, one more time. And upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. That's what we're seeing. As well as going to the signs in the heavens, dealing with the sun, the moon, the chariot sightings, which are the so-called UFOs / UAPs. And you're seeing these things at an all-time high. The sea and the waves roaring, especially dealing with these storms, which I made a lesson just yesterday going through this Arctic freeze that's pretty much going to come across the U.S. And you're already seeing, it being heavy over there in Texas. I believe some cars crashed already. But let's see, let's continue on. Which the main point was verse 25. I think that's all we need. Which is also the main point. I'll leave it at that right there. Matthew 24:3-8, which the main point is going to be verse 7, but we'll read off the full verses. And as they sat upon the mount, all the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of the coming of the end of the world? Now, asking list of those end time signs that we would see now take place before our Lord Yahushua will return. And when it says the end of the world, it's not speaking of the whole end of the entire earth, but speaking of an end of an age, the end of an era, the end of Esau, Edom's rule. Now, verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said to them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come my name, saying, I'm anointed, and shall deceive many. And you're seeing these false prophets being exposed as we speak. It's a daily thing. With these guys, when I say these guys, speaking of these other Israelite camps that are pushing and promoting false doctrine, which I believe something else happened, I believe a couple days ago, which I need to catch up with on the brothers' lessons going into it. But a lot of these guys, are pushing that the names are not important, downplaying Yahushua. A lot of these guys are off, man, and the Lord's making it clear with who he's dealing with and who he is not. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and we're just in the beginning of this, man. It's just barely starting to pick up. Which you've been seeing going back to the year 2020. Going back all the way up to the year 2024 now. It's been a snowball effect. Like a snowball effect. It's been continuing to pick up until you won't be able to stop it. Second Ezra 9:1-4, which you will never able to be, you'll never be able to stop prophecy. It's going to how it's going to continue to pick up the pace and the speed, which go into the snowball effect. Which you could right here. Trying to articulate my words a little bit better, but a situation and one action or event causes many other similar actions or events. So it's just continue to pick up, which is ultimately the main point I'm trying to push. So we're seeing so many things happening. The Lord hastening these days, prophecy playing out, Just going to show when you're in the end of this place. Ultimately, the point's trying to push. Now, yeah, we read that right there. So the second Adonai 1-4, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself, and when thou see part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, which how we measure the times that we're in, by the way, these signs and these prophecies. And guess what? The Lord has shown us those signs, man, that we're nearing the end of this place, getting closer and closer to our Lord Yahushua's return. Verse 2. Then shalt thou understand at the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, which should be, by the way, of our Lord Yahushua. Verse 3. Now it says, therefore, when there be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that before thee, even from the beginning. And we're in those times, man. Now, get ready to close out these last 3 scriptures, and that's going to be it on that. Mark 3:25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And you get other similar scriptures that go into right here. You know, if Satan be divided against himself, how shall then his kingdom stand? Roughly paraphrasing. And this really just goes to show that this devil is losing his power, man. And you're seeing little examples taking place, you know, across the world, and it's going to hit America the hardest. Isaiah 19:2 also added to that point. You also set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. You also get in Book of Revelations going to America, Babylon the Great, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So speaking of right there, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Habakkuk 2:3. So tensions are building. You're seeing how Bashim Ashai stirring that pot, and things are continuing to pick up, man. Until our Lord Yahushua returns. We're seeing, I keep bringing up throughout these, field lessons, going into that snowball effect. It starts small at first, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. Now, for the vision, for an appointed time, but then speaking out loud, that would tarry, wait for it, because it surely come, not tarry, meaning, not delay. So these things will happen and will come to pass, whether you believe it or not. And we're in those appointed times, as written and spoken of in the scriptures. So those that don't want to take heed, that don't want to get right, that don't want to seek out the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, you're going to be destroyed. Simple as that. And you're seeing everything the Lord's doing, and we're barely, a little over, a week into this new year already, man. And you're seeing so many things happening and taking place. So that's pretty much on that. I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kakadash, to the apostles, and else great mills of Jesus is true. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. Shalom, thanks for the global.